Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me and allowing me to continue to be your daily advocate. If you're new here or you're not subscribed for any reason, please do me a huge favor and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to all of you who have been watching and following me for so long. It truly means a lot, and I'm glad that I can be this person.
I believe one of the most important things that we need to analyze in helping us figure out why the SEC decided that they needed to drag the XRP holder into this lawsuit with Ripple is what Jay Clayton was saying prior to this lawsuit being filed. Jay Clayton was the one who drafted this lawsuit and filed it against Ripple. So I think it's very critical that if we're going to analyze why the SEC decided to drag XRP holders in this lawsuit, we pay very close attention to what Jay Clayton was saying. And make sure you guys stick around till the end of this video, because that's when I'm really going to be wrapping together all these thoughts and telling you guys why Jay Clayton wanted to put the XRP holder into this lawsuit.
New additions that we otherwise wouldn't have received. 80% were pulling half of them from Q3, half of them from Q4. But, in a situation where you're totally lacking in any empirical guidance and support, you haven't gone out and been able to test and do anything in the market, isn't it entirely appropriate, and isn't it the most honest thing for the company to say, it's our guess that this is what's going on? We don't know. Yes.
So first of all, right there, and I'm going to keep playing this clip, Joseph Grunfest goes to Jay Clayton and says, how do you expect these companies to know what's going on if you're not providing them any rules? So aren't these companies doing the best they can by simply assessing the market regulations for what they've been given and then doing their best to follow these rules? And Jay Clayton says, yes. So he's saying and he's acknowledging, yeah, we haven't given them any rules. They just need to do their best and hope they don't break them. And that, first of all, is absolutely embarrassing from the person who makes the rules. He's literally admitting that he's been incompetent, and because of that, industry players have had to guess on what rules they're supposed to follow. Let's keep playing this.
So in that context, it's entirely legitimate for companies to say, this is what we see happening, and this is our guess as to what might actually occur. Guessing here, it's the only thing we can do in some of these situations.
Yeah, but we're quibbling over words, Joe. I mean, I said I don't. I said
we're lawyers. We have to quibble over words.
Wow. Notice what he says there. We're quibbling over words. And look at Jay Clayton's reaction here. Joseph Grunfest says, of course we're quibbling over words. We're lawyers. Words are critical. Words mean things. Words are how the industry figures out what is legal and what is illegal. And what does Jay Clayton do as a response to this? He laughs in his face. To him, this is all a joke. To him, he can do whatever he wants and he does not feel any repercussions. And let's read what Stephen Hubert says here. Well, that old chairman made it clear that all ICOs are illegal, and then made the biggest ICO legal, Ethereum, then made the biggest non-ICO illegal, XRP, then called that clarity, then left the SEC, then complained about a lack of clarity, and then the new chairman called that clarity. Guys, what Stephen Hubert is pointing out is that the SEC officials like Jay Clayton feel like they can say whatever they want, do whatever they want to do when they're in power, and have absolutely zero obligation for anything they say or do. This is a horrible precedent to be setting for people in government who are supposed to be representing the people who they serve and providing clarity to markets that desperately need it. We can see right here, Jay Clayton thinks he can say whatever he wants and not be held accountable for his actions. With that said, I tweeted out, Jay Clayton seems like a smooth brain compared to Joseph Grunfest. Clayton, we are quibbling over words. Grunfest, we are lawyers, we have to. I have said multiple times that the SEC on paper created a lawsuit that was unwinnable for the agency. Clayton's incompetence may be the reason XRP holders were dragged into this lawsuit. And what I want to point out is a little while back, I tweeted out, this right here is the most fascinating part about the Ripple versus SEC case. Not the ETH free pass or even the fake fraud allegations against Brad Garlinghouse and Chris Larson. It is that the SEC has insisted in arguing the ridiculous notion that XRP itself is a security. And right here, we can see Ripple specifically saying the sweeping requests have caused havoc in an otherwise orderly market, as market participants have come to the conclusion that the SEC intends to impose a regulatory structure on XRP that does not apply for digital assets such as Bitcoin and Ether. Right here, Ripple is directly calling out the SEC for their inconsistent regulations. And in my opinion, this has to do with a lot of the fact that Jay Clayton doesn't think words matter. He thinks he can say whatever he wants, go after whatever project he feels like, and simply throw his power around and make people bow down to him. He doesn't feel like he has to be held accountable to anything he says, and he thinks he can walk into a market and everyone will simply treat him as God, follow his rules, and not question him. I move on to pointing out, and the funniest thing about all of this is how quickly the judge looked at this and said, this is ridiculous. You simply can't file a lawsuit against someone and make up charges. One of the funniest things the SEC has tried to say in order to create this distinction, or to create their made-up distinction between Bitcoin and Ethereum, is that XRP never had utility while Bitcoin and Ethereum did. It's important to note that the SEC has been following Ripple for over 4 to 5 years. So for them to claim that XRP had zero utility, and then the court instantly comes back and says, my understanding of XRP is that not only does it have some sort of currency value, but it also has utility. And that utility distinguishes it, I think, from Bitcoin and Ethereum. This right here shows that the SEC obviously knew that XRP had utility. There is no way they could be studying XRP for 4 to 5 years when thinking about filing this lawsuit and not come to the conclusion that XRP has inherent utility, and then the court, after only 4 months of analyzing the suit, instantly comes to the conclusion that XRP actually has more utility than Bitcoin and Ethereum. What this shows is the SEC thought they could simply make up this claim and people would blindly believe them. Jay Clayton believed he could say XRP had no utility and the court would believe him because he's Jay Clayton. Jay Clayton does not feel responsible for the things he says. He thinks people will blindly believe him because he has power. He thought that he could lie to the court and create his own narrative and they would believe him. When I pointed this out in the video yesterday, and I said that XRP is not a security and this case is now about sales. Why I said this is because we already know that the judge now is under the impression that Jay Clayton has simply been lying during the filing of this lawsuit and has simply been saying things to make it seem like XRP is different than Ethereum and Bitcoin, but it's not. Therefore, I believe for the most part, XRP holders will be removed from this lawsuit, but that doesn't necessarily tell us why they were put in the lawsuit to start. I want to keep moving and just point out 2 other major consistencies in things the SEC has said before I tell you guys exactly why I think the XRP holder was dragged into this. So one thing is, and I thought this was pretty funny, is Stephen Hubert tweets out that actually the lead prosecutor in the Ripple case was also a prosecutor in the Telegram case. In this case, he said that in order for a blockchain to be truly decentralized, every single person must have an opportunity to be a validator on the network. Well, he says, Stephen Hubert says, if this is the case, then XRP is decentralized based on the things the SEC has said. And this is just another inconsistency of the SEC thinking that it can go say something in the past and then change the rules depending on the scenario at play. They said clearly in the Telegram case that if every single person who wants to be a validator can act as a validator, the blockchain is decentralized. XRP fits perfectly into this mold, and yet they go after XRP and says it has no utility. The SEC also goes on to say that XRP is a sophisticated blockchain. How can you be a sophisticated blockchain with no utility? It doesn't make any sense. What it shows is the SEC does not feel like they have to listen to the things they've said in the past. They think they can walk into any room and say, this is how it goes, you can't question us, this is the way it's going to be. And that's simply not the case. They don't have that kind of power, and the fact that the court has already called them out on this shows that it is not going to be that way very long. Now, this gets into the two options that I think are critical for us to understand. One is incompetence corruption with a terribly drafted case. This is what I've been talking about for the most case in the video. In this option, it would be that Jay Clayton, William Hinman wanted to give ETH the free pass. They also wanted to stall XRP and stall Ripple. So to do this, they tried to launch a lawsuit against Ripple, stating XRP was a security. In doing so, because Jay Clayton is so stupid, he actually launched a lawsuit that didn't make any sense and launched a lawsuit that the SEC couldn't win. And that was because he was trying to say things that fundamentally didn't make sense and went against guidance issued by his own agency. Option one is incompetence, corruption, with one of the worst drafted cases in history, and I think one that we win in the end. Option two is that this was all a setup. It was to create a legal distinction between the sales and the token itself. And what I mean by this is the SEC and Jay Clayton purposely go into this case. They know they have a case against Ripple for selling XRP in a security contract manner, meaning that the sales of XRP was securities, but not necessarily the token themselves. Right here, they have a slam dunk case and actually have a decent path forward in able to persecute Ripple for selling XRP like a security. So with that said, why would you tack on that XRP was inherently a security if you knew it went against decades of your own agency guidance? That is where we get into the option that the only reason that was ever brought up was to create a distinction in the courts. Make it obvious to the market. You have the sales of a token, that is one thing, and then you have the token itself. In that case, the whole world is staged. This is all a setup to create clarity for a market that desperately needs it.
So enjoy your day, everybody. I'm always here for you. Leave any comments or questions below, and be sure to subscribe. But thanks, everybody. I really appreciate you. Enjoy your day, and I always have your back. So thanks so much, everybody.